on the quarterback situation. So.
Let's do it. I'm going to fight for a rookie.
Yeah?
In the first round, 6 overall. That's been my shtick.
That's it? That's what you're committed to?
I'm going to fight that.
I don't blame you guys.
Yeah. I'm not forcing it like Maz, though. Maz will take any motherfucker that's there.
Yeah. Hot mics, though. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the here on the Woodward Sports Network. Adam, Beydoun, Jeff, Jesus fucking Christ. What's up with my camera today? What the hell's going on here?
These.
That look like shit.
Yeah, these cameras are way off.
No, we're good. We're live, woodwardsports.com as always. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Look, I know it was raining a little bit, but to me, this is Michigan weather, right? You get to walk out in short sleeves, and you don't have to worry about bringing a big-ass coat.
It's March 17th. You know what that means?
What?
Where's your green at? What the hell?
Oh, today's St. Patrick. So I don't do that
Come on,
shit.
dude.
I don't do that.
Come on.
Look.
I'm Italian, but I still wore green.
I'm Italian, All right, man.
I'm not over here support. I'm not even Irish, and I'm wearing green. So
yeah, in honor of everybody getting drunk today, enjoy.
Oh, geez.
Enjoy, all of you. We got a fun show today. Today we're gonna keep it loose, keep it fun, but also we're gonna have about a half hour of just conversations with all of you today. Phone lines are gonna be open starting at 8:25. 313-552-6322. We'll make sure to pin it in the chat. That way you can all call in. And the conversation we're going to be having with all of you later on today.
Which might have been already teased because the mics were kind of on. But quarterback conversation.
No, way to blow it. Who and what do you want to do at the quarterback position?
Ooh.
Not Jared Goff. This is not about the starting quarterback position. It's about the backup position.
Of course.
Backups are expensive right now.
They are.
You see the market. Minshew went and signed in Indy. We want to have that conversation with all of you this morning. Obviously, we'll start the show with Evan Brown, Graham Glasgow, news. The Lions' backup situation in general. We'll do this draft prospect that I like at the top of the hour. I do like him. I would even go out on a limb and say love. Love is a strong word, but nobody is ever 100%. I want to ask questions, and if you guys think this individual checks off certain boxes, well, then I want to know why we're disagreeing so much. So how about we do that? 9:15 we'll go around the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins to the Cowboys? Rumored? Matthew Stafford an option for the Jets if A-Rod doesn't fall through?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
It's funny how Les Snead falsified those reports when they came out. Oh, we're not trading Matthew Stafford.
I don't know what to believe. And then, of course, March Madness. What a joke.
I know.
When I tell you college basketball fucking sucks all year, this is why. Wait. Hear me out.
Okay, I'll let you.
Because it sucks all year, and it's a shit sport. But come March, it's fucking amazing.
True.
It is unbelievable. Alabama not covering because some hero down 24 points decided to jack up a 3 and the spread was 22.5. Way to go, buddy, asshole. You're never getting an NIL deal. Every advertiser was probably betting on that game and they're like, fuck this guy. So it's going to be fun. But let's start. Evan Brown leaving to Seattle. But Graham Glasgow signing with the Lions on a 1-year deal, Jeff. What'd you make of the move? And again, every free agent signing is going to have an impact, you'd think, on the board. Some more than others.
Mm-hmm.
We've always talked, and I would give you the credit for this, you've always brought up the idea of a guard at some point in the draft, even before I did. Glasgow in Detroit. Reunites with former teammates.
Yep.
I think it's a really good move, no?
Yeah, drafted in the 3rd round in 2016. I actually like the move for Evan Brown. As solid as he played last year, we know Evan Brown isn't a true guard. I mean, he was signed to the Seahawks as a center. That's what he is. He's versatile, and he can play multiple positions on the offensive line, but that's not his true position. So the Lions went out and got a true guard in Graham Glasgow. And again, if you check the statistics, they're a little misleading for what he did with Denver because that offensive line, I mean, they shifted things around consistently, so you never really had a consistent, unit of guys like the Lions have. You know who's going to be there. You know, Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, and you have Penei Sewell. So you know what you're walking into. You just need to plug some holes, and I think Graham Glasgow, I'm cool with it. I don't mind it. It's a one-year deal. And again, it doesn't mean they won't draft a guard. I don't know. I would potentially say maybe it doesn't put as much pressure on them to draft a guard, but I like it. I do. You needed to sign a guard at some point. They did it, and it's a former Lion, former third
What have you
round
made
pick.
of the free agency period so far for the Lions? I would rank it among, at least, it's a top 6 free agent period among any team in the NFL. When I think of teams that have really gone out and made an impact, not splashes. It's not about the names, but teams that have significantly improved and have set themselves up for a good situation. Who's really done that around the league? Well, I think of Denver going out and securing that. Rumor is Gardner Johnson heading to Cincinnati, not returning to Philly. Cincinnati, who obviously released Jesse Bates, as he went and took a bid and an offer from Atlanta. Darius Slay also, by the way, 3 years, $42 million, about $14 million a year, so good for him.
Yeah, he got some money.
You know, I think the Lions are among the 5-6 best teams in terms of who had a really good free agency period. The Lions addressed corner twice.
They did.
The Lions upgraded from Jamal Williams to David Montgomery. Solid. Re-signed some core players that are very important, not because they're stars, but because they play a role, and you need people like that on your football team. You can't just all be all pros.
Right.
There's only one San Francisco in the league right now. And even their backups apparently are fucking all pros now, with John Hargraves going there. It's unbelievable. Having said that, it's been a really good free agency period. I think it's a good signing. What it means for the board, look, I never believed in Torrance at 18. All of you at home, and Jeff really have allowed me to keep an open mind in the second round just because they have 2 picks of the idea of a guard. But after this, no rush and no pressure is going to be a theme we're going to be talking about from now till the draft. The way Brad Holmes is operating in this front office, they are 10 steps ahead at everything. Secondary was a need. We're going to go out and get a guy that's going to be here for a minute, and we're going to take a chance on a guy coming off an ACL injury who's very good, by the way, because we suck in the secondary.
And they'll probably draft one as well. Draft a corner. So
I'm all ears, man. I'm all ears for this. I think it's very good. Losing Evan Brown, expected.
Yeah, you lose Evan, who's super versatile, for a guy like Glasgow, who literally is just as versatile. He played center, right guard, left guard. So again, I don't mind it. If anything, if this kind of pushes the safety position, I think more of a need than guard, in my opinion, because you lose
Safety
Deshaun
more
Elliott.
than guard.
So think about it. You have Kirby, Tracy.
Just say Brian Branch or Sidney Brown.
Yes.
/ Jamie Robinson.
There you go.
That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
You want a guy that can line up in the slot. Is exactly what you're telling me.
Rather probably than pursuing a guard, but you never know.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? I got to be honest. I think the Kyle Hamilton conversation last year sucked because I did think he was a very good player, but never in my life would I ever draft a safety as high as what the conversation was going into that draft.
Right.
Where the Ravens got him, a lot of value there. I think they got him at 15, right? Solid pick for them. Or yeah, it was 15, I'm pretty sure. This year, Brian Branch at 18. It's shown up on more mocks than usual.
And there's some good safeties this year.
People are open to it.
There's some good safeties. I mean, you got Sidney Brown, Jamie Robinson, and to your point, you brought up Brian Branch, but even funky, naming more. I mean, Antonio Johnson, J.L. Skinner. Like, it's a pretty good safety class. And maybe Brad knew that and thought, okay, we won't, try and, I guess, over-pursue Deshaun Elliott because we'll just draft him. You got Tracy coming back. They'll be all right.
Blade makes an interesting comment. Safety and wide receiver are our biggest need. Would you agree now?
DJ Chark is gone. Yeah, I don't know about...
But I disagree.
Biggest need...
I think it's interior lineman.
Yeah, I wouldn't say biggest
I would
need.
still say edge depth. And then I would say safety.
Yeah.
And I'm not thinking about a wide receiver when Jared Goff spent a majority of the season throwing to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, with no DeAndre Swift available.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not losing sleep over DJ Chark leaving. Does Chark bring a dynamic that you'd like, a big-bodied receiver? He can, quote, stretch the field? Sure. In an ideal world, yes.
Yeah.
Am I going to draft one because it's ideal for my off?
Not at 18.
Not at 18. I did that last year.
I don't mind you drafting one, but yeah, not at 18.
And you know how expensive wide receivers are? Walk me through the 4 most important positions. We always do this.
Yep. Quarterback, left tackle,
edge. Pass rusher.
Yeah. And
just
then,
pass rusher.
And then wide receiver.
Try having 3 wide receivers on the same team.
Yeah.
Because St. Brown is going to get first-round money when his contract's up.
Definitely.
Jamison Williams, if he hits, will get superstar-type money. And now you're going to convince me at 18 you're going to get a wide... What the fuck is wrong with you? You don't need it. You don't need it. Not in this offense. It was a top 5 offense without it. I'll pass. Chark played, 11 games last year, 4 or 5 of which he was completely irrelevant in. So,
and that's the problem. People look at Chark and look at the impact he had when he
had 4 really good games.
When he didn't play last year, and you're right, but also Jamison Williams didn't play. You're going to have J-Mo this whole season. So I think that whole no DJ Chark and what it did to the Lions offense a little more overrated last year than it will be this year. But I get it. You got to sign a deep threat. I'm just not pressured to sign DJ Chark. He's visiting Carolina. Like, he's going to get paid. It just won't be in Detroit.
Yeah, Blade, I don't disagree with you in terms of safety isn't a need. I disagree that wide receiver is up there. To me, it's linemen, defensive linemen in general. Give me depth, give me an interior pass rusher. I would agree with you, yes, a safety is a need. Yeah. Tracy Walker, unfortunately, is still coming off that torn Achilles. You expect him to be 100%, but still precautionary. And, of course, you have to address the slot.
Right.
Because Emmanuel Mosley's not playing it. And last I checked, Cam Sutton did all his work on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
He can, but...
It'd be your guy, Jeff.
He was...
Jeff Kuh to be playing.
Yeah, my guy. I'm going to get fired over those comments.
and that's one thing, too. And for safety, AG plays a lot of DBs. In his, like, you look back, even with Deshaun Elliott, if Tracy Walker didn't get hurt, you'd still see Tracy, Kirby, and Deshaun playing on the field together. Yep. So I don't want to hear the
Tracy injury just propelled Kirby Joseph into the spotlight.
Right. And you had to play guys like Juju Hughes. I mean, you had to play other safeties.
Adam, Jeff, do you guys think Chase Lucas will do anything of merit? Steve, I'm not going to put any money on it. It would be nice if he could, but no.
Yeah, I don't
Can we see what J-Mo does before we just assume he's wide receiver 2? I think that's fair.
But if you're drafted...
But I also have to assume he's wide receiver 2 because I spent a first-round pick on him. This isn't a 4th-round pick that I have high hopes for.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very different. But let's take a break. When we get back, the Lions' backup quarterback situation. I'd like to talk with Jeff about this. Jeff is on board, and I don't want to give away too much, but Jeff is on board with the idea of drafting a quarterback. When and where, I believe, is where him and I disagree right now. And I do have a theory. It's not 1,000% right all the time. But I like to think this theory works more often than not. I'll cite my examples. You tell me, Adam, fuck you. And I'll tell you, Jeff, okay, I'm wrong. So let's do that coming up next. And then we'll take callers at 8:30. We'll take callers. What do you think the Lions should do at the quarterback position? Should they go out and wait until almost... really the preseason begins to get a backup? Should they draft one? We'll have this whole conversation. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at the Sports Marketing Agency.
The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This Is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, tell them or even yourself to head to thesportsma.com for more information.
I love Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 to play for $12, the unlimited open play, or you can pay $120 for a lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 mystery beer machine, full bar. Check it all out. FoalingWarehouse.com.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com. If you don't get a chance to catch this live every morning, well, you can always listen back. Available on all, our show, is available on all podcast platforms, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you use. Deezer for some of you weirdos. None of you that are using the mainstream apps, but make sure you leave us a 5-star review and tell Jeff how nice his hair is, because it's almost back. I miss your hair.
Yeah, it's getting there. We're making progress. Baby steps. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day. So.
It did fall, technically speaking, but
yeah,
you know, here we are. All right. Jeff Iafrate. How would you like to do this? Would you like me to tell you what I think about Gardner Minshew to Indy and what the backup situation looks like going into the year? Or would you like to convince me before I say a single word that the Lions should consider strongly a quarterback at 6?
Lions fan.
How would you like to do this? I don't mind either way.
Do it. Well, you already know which route I'm going to go. So
okay, then hear me out.
Okay.
All right, for you and anybody else, and this is why we're going to take callers on this today, because I'm very curious. Backups are expensive, especially the good ones, okay? Mm-hmm. Can we all acknowledge, and I'd like just a yes or no. I don't want reasons. I don't want excuses, all right? So everybody in the chat, live watching, please just work with me. A simple yes or no suffices. If Jared Goff goes down for more than, I wouldn't even say a short-term period. Let's say Jared Goff goes down for a significant amount of time. Is your season over, yes or no?
Yes.
You would say yes. Some would say, well, they could maybe still fight for a wild card given the talent and how weak the NFC is. Fine, but the expectations that you had going into the season go down the gutter, in my opinion. Go down the drain the moment Jared Goff gets in.
Well, and then you see San Francisco. I mean, Jimmy G was hurt, and they still did something.
I'm sorry, with all due respect to Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell.
He's not Kyle Shanahan.
Not fucking Kyle Shanahan.
I knew you were going that route.
Not surrounded by an all-pro at every position on offense and defense. Two very different situations. But I think we would all agree the season would be over. Okay, cool. So I'm not going to get hung up on this. And look, I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is going to get drafted, the next version of him, in the next 5-10 years, okay? Those quarterbacks come on every few years. It's very... Not even every decade you maybe get one or two like him that are elite, that would be considered top 20 all time. But what I'm saying, and where I'm going with this, is the Chiefs laid out the blueprint, in my opinion. Alex Smith was the starter for 4 years. Was he the ideal quarterback? No, the fuck he wasn't. Was he effective? Yes, he was. Did he win playoff games? Yes, he did. Did they win division titles? Yes, they did. That's all I'm asking for out of Jared Goff. And what Jared Goff playing well allows me to do, Jeff, even if I have to pay him north of 32, 34, 35 million on a future extension, he gives me time. So if Anthony Richardson is Brad Holmes' Patrick Mahomes, they should draft him this year. That's what I think. If none of them are, they can try next year. And if they don't like anybody next year that's available, well, they can extend Goff and try again the next year. If they have success. That's always the key word here. The Lions are running the division. If they win 2 of the next 3 division titles, if they go to the playoffs for 3 consecutive years, I think you will be very happy with Goff, and you'll allow your front office to sit back and say, hey, we found the guy. We're willing to move all these assets to go up and get him. The Chiefs were 12-4 the year they drafted Mahomes. Again, it is not easy to draft a Patrick Mahomes. I am not making an argument for that. What I'm telling you is it gives your GM time to make that decision, Jeff. So whether it's you, people in the chat, everybody at home watching after, I can understand you wanting to say, Adam, they should take a quarterback. And maybe my way is the cop-out. Maybe you can say that. But to me, if the GM is in love, they should do it, no questions asked. Because the GM, to me, is undeniably the greatest GM in your franchise's history. I have no questions about him. I think he's a top 5 I think he's a top 5 GM in the league right now. Mm-hmm. I could certainly make the case. Talent evaluation, he's top 3. Who's drafted better since he's been in the NFL as a GM? So for me, I don't question Brad in terms of that decision-making. But the timeline doesn't add up to me, Jeff. Jared Goff still has 2 more years. You've yet to accomplish anything. And the truth is, if Dan Campbell can't win the division with Jared Goff, the fuck he is with any rookie. Totally honest. Mm-hmm. Let alone a second-year guy who sat the first year. If he can't win with Goff, he won't win with a rookie. You can win with Jared Goff. I'm not saying Jared is perfect. I'm not saying I love Jared or that I think he's elite. There's levels, of course, to that quarterback position.
Right.
But Jared Goff is among the guys in the league that if you don't have the elite, you'd rather have him, because if it's not him, you're stuck with Zach Wilson, Mike White, Gardner Minshew, Baker Mayfield. That's where it goes. And you don't want that. Or Marcus Mariota. And you don't want that. That's what I think.
And even though I disagree with this way to do it, the Chiefs still traded when they were 12-4. They had the 27th overall pick. 10. Moved up to 10. So, again, and that's something I say a lot. Like, okay, if you have the 24 overall pick next year, who's trading you for allowing you to get a quarterback? They got one at 10. So, there's always a chance you can get your guy at 10. But
Josh Allen at 7, Herbert at 6. I mean,
it's not the most.
And for every good
way.
example, I can give you a really bad example of teams trading up, like unproven right now. But Trey Lance, that's a disaster. 3 first-round picks, hasn't played in 2 years basically.
Right.
I need something.
You only have a handful of examples of guys who can, like Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Deshaun, and then you have Patrick Mahomes at 10, and then you could bring up, Kenny Pickett now, I guess. He's a first-round pick. But even most of if you talk about top-tier quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Tua, you go on and so forth. They're all top 10 quarterbacks.
Top 10, yeah.
Guys that were drafted in the top 10. So if I'm the Lions, if I'm Brad Holmes, like I say, it's not just about next year. It's about the next 5 years. Like, how do you keep this thing going? And it's not even about if you like golf or not.
Say that again. I don't want to misinterpret what you just said. Say that again.
It's not just about next year. It's about the next
terms of
5 years of
for the
just
team?
being in this, being a
This
contender.
window.
Yes, this window. Because even if you say, to your point, if you say, well, if we can't draft a quarterback next year or the next year, we'll just extend Goff. Well, we'll pick a player you're going to have to get rid of. Unless Goff takes a discount, which I don't know if he will. I'm assuming he won't, considering what other quarterbacks are signing for. But you have to at least think ahead to those guys that are going to be up for an extension.
If Derek, I think there's a correction going on in the league, right or wrong. I think there is with the quarterback contract situation. I don't think Goff will cost more than $40 million if he's extended. And the salary cap would have bumped up 2 consecutive years by then when it does. If it does happen. I agree with you. There is a 5-year window right now, given all the draft picks, the young core this team has. I would agree. But I can also extend that 5 years by another 5 years or 10 years if I hit on the quarterback.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
and especially, and just think about this. If you are paying Goff now, you're not paying your or the young players. And by the time you got to pay everybody else, you're not paying your quarterback. Like, that's the way to keep this thing going. You can't pay Goff and pay everybody else.
I don't want to, again, this to me is not a cop-out. It's the reality. When the general manager of the Detroit Lions picks up the phone and makes a selection, and the selection is a quarterback, whether this year, next year, or the year after, it will be his guy. Trevor Lawrence, a Jacksonville guy. Herbert, a Los Angeles guy. Miami, with Tua, their guy. When they drafted them. Fair?
Fair.
Zach Wilson was the guy. Justin Fields was the guy also. Baker Mayfield was the guy. Kyler Murray. I can go on and on of examples that you're just not confident of, or they just didn't work. So, I'm not in a rush, personally, to get a backup quarterback in the draft. You want to grab a rookie later on and see if he can compete in camp? Go for it. You want to get a Hendon Hooker and try to pull the Jalen Hurts route? Be my guest. I'm not losing sleep over it. You want to take a quarterback 6th overall. When I know for a fact 3 quarterbacks will be taken in the top 4? Who are you kidding? The year Mahomes was drafted, Jeff, Trubisky went first. At what, pick number 3 or 4? But nobody else went after that. Mahomes was the 2nd quarterback off the board. Watson the 3rd. That's the anomaly draft. The year Joe Burrow came out, nobody else after him, and he was number 1 overall. Trevor Lawrence draft, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, but meh, nothing special. Only Trevor Lawrence is a special one out of the group. So now you have to sell me on the idea, Jeff, that at pick 6, you're trading for the 4th best quarterback, or the 4th available quarterback, given 3 teams are going to draft one. Does that sound right? Do you feel confident? If for example, if Brad Holmes is in love with a quarterback and his qualities, I would like to imagine there's at least a few smart scouts and GMs out there in the NFL that are picking ahead of the Lions that would identify that as well.
And I want to say this too. I'm not saying draft a quarterback to draft a quarterback. I think that's number one. Because I don't agree with that sentiment of, we'll just take, I'll take Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. Like, I'm very selective on who I want the Lions to take. If Bryce is there, no brainer. I don't think he'd be there.
He goes, did you see Schefter's update? Carolina, as of right now, Bryce Young will be the number 1 overall pick.
Thank gosh, they're competent human beings. C.J. Stroud was talked about. Glad Bryce Young, but regardless, it would be Bryce, C.J. in maybe Will Levis, but I'm still out on Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. So, not saying to take one, and I want to read this comment before we go to break.
Yeah.
Chris says, and then his guy, meaning the rookie quarterback, will take 2 to 3 years until ready to win now.
That's not true.
Hold on, we'll get to it. Setting your 5-year window back farther, you will be surprised that this GM already has his guys. It's Jared Goff. Chris.
Chris, shut the fuck up. Well, Trevor Lawrence won the division after having the worst record in football year 1.
Yeah.
In year 2, he won the division and a playoff game.
And Chris is kind of making the point because in 2 to 3 years, he'll be ready.
Chris,
if you draft one this year, you won't play him for probably 2 years.
No. If you draft one this year, he is the starter next year, unless Goff has an excellent season. But you don't draft somebody 6th overall and sit them 2 years. It's not how this shit works.
Except if you're the Packers with Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Jordan Love's not working out, dude. It's not. Dude's contract is going to expire, and he hasn't even played a full season.
I know.
So, no, I'm sorry. Jared Goff, do I think he is their guy for a 2, 3, 4-year window? 2 guaranteed. Yeah. I think they have time, and that was my argument, is I do think they have time. I don't think they're trying to rush off of Goff unless they're really good, and he's clearly the problem. That's the only way they move off, in my opinion. I just don't see a quarterback at 6 this year, or let alone 18. If they want to take a flyer and at 55 or 81 this year,
yeah,
sure.
And I'm okay. If you don't want to take one at 6, if Jalen Carter's there and you want to take Jalen Carter, that's fine. You could take a Hendon Hooker or somebody late in the draft. I just think if you're going to take a quarterback, you have that 6th pick. It's probably the highest pick you're going to have in the next couple of years, assuming the Lions do what we think they'll do.
All right.
So you got to compromise on that window.
All right, here's what we're going to do.
But don't force it.
We'll take a break. When we get back, JB or Jeff, if you don't mind, pin the call number in the chat, 313-552-6322. JB will answer the calls. You guys call in, tell them what you want to talk about. We want to hear, what do you think the Lions should do at quarterback? Make it quick, make it precise. I want to know what you think about the backup quarterback position, because Jared Goff will be the starter this year, and I don't expect them to take a quarterback early. Do you? Do you have a different vision? Did you disagree with anything I or Jeff said? Call in. The phone line, or excuse me, the phone number is available in the chat. Lines are open. We'll get to you guys in just a few minutes, but before we go, Jeff, I got to tell you about where I need to go, because my goodness, I look like a goddamn grizzly bear. And that's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, no appointment necessary. Their awesome stylists will take care of you like they always take care of me. Precision haircuts with the exceptional stylist at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zaniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
All right. 8:32, Friday morning. We'll get to what you guys got planned for the weekend later on in the show, probably before we get to mailbag. But the phone lines are open for a reason. I would love to talk to every single one of you and what in the absolute hell is going on here. So let's start. JB, you can send them through. Who do we got? First caller of the day.
All right, I'm going to send you guys Wes. So here is
All right,
Wes.
Wes, you're on the morning show. Good morning, buddy. Backup quarterback situation, or do you draft one? Your thoughts on the situation?
What's going on, fellas? Good morning.
Good morning.
What's going on?
I would say the Lions are in a place where they could do 3 things: draft a quarterback, keep Goff, or trade for Lamar Jackson. But here's the thing that all 3 of these quarterbacks will have in common. Eventually, they're going to have to get paid, especially if they all pan out right. So yesterday, Jeff, you said something that made sense. The Eagles are in a position where they got that first round 10th pick that's not theirs, and they still got theirs. Just like the Lions got their 6th pick from the Rams, and they still got the 18th. So, me personally, looking at the quarterback situation, I'm going to take a swing for Lamar. MVP, he only 26. You're going to have to pay somebody. So, at some point, you're going to have to pay somebody. So, that's what I would do. I would trade the 18 in next year. You still get your high pick and go from there.
So, Wes, by the way, if you're going to pay Lamar or Jared Goff, I'm with you. You're paying Lamar. That's not even a debate. The only thing I would ask you, though, so you're comfortable giving up a first round this year and your first round pick next year and paying Lamar probably $50 million in a fully guaranteed contract?
Nah. Here's the thing.
Okay.
The reason why I'm confident in doing that is because Brad Holmes has showed that he can draft good talent in later rounds. And you still have to think, as long as you can maneuver your ways and restructure contracts and get rid of dead weight, you can make a way possible. And then sometimes you got to look at it like this. If the Lions really want to make a statement for themselves, sometimes you got to swing for the fences. I understand I'm not against the process of how we're doing things right now, but 26 MVP, use his legs and his arm, didn't really never have a team like the Lions, like what we got.
Wes.
You gotta take a look at that. Adam, look, Adam, hold on, Adam. I know you not happy with what I'm saying, but like I say, you have to pay somebody, and they're in a position where they got to make an option. So,
I mean, I'll just pay fucking John F. Kennedy at this point. I mean, fuck me, man. Look, here's what I got. Here's what I got for you. All right, here's what I got. Fuck no on the idea of Lamar Jackson. I can't do it. It's not in me.
My man Wes, he was giving his case. He was pitching his case.
You know what? There are thousands, tens of thousands of very professional, very polite, very qualified lawyers every day that are working their asses off, that are making cases for their defendants or plaintiffs, and they lose. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Look, 50 million, 48 million, 47 million, whatever the number is for Lamar, kick rocks. I think the way the Ravens are handling the situation is poor, but that shouldn't be my price to pay. I'm not interested. Brad Holmes isn't interested. I think Jared Goff next year is a more effective quarterback with the Lions than Lamar Jackson would be. A lot of what the Lions do that people really don't understand or want to forget because they just assume because of the offensive line everything works. Jared Goff is asked to make 6, 7, 8 throws a game that are towards the sideline, short intermediate throws that require pinpoint accuracy. And I'm not saying Lamar Jackson can't do that. I don't think he can do it at the level Jared Goff does. Kick rocks. And that's two first-round picks. Lamar Jackson, the $48 million. I can't do it. Look, just do me a favor. Just do me a favor because we got a lot of calls to get to. If anybody else, Wes is my man, so he gets away with it. Anybody else tries to fucking call in and tell me Lamar Jackson, I'm going to have the team in the back find your IP address. I'm going to find out where you live. I'm coming after you. All right? I don't want any of this bullshit this morning. All right?
So, for people that are saying that Lamar wouldn't fit our scheme, you don't think Ben Johnson would build this offense around Lamar like he did Jared Goff? That's the only point.
Well, it's not Ben Johnson's job because he'll be a head coach after next year.
Well, true, but if you have a year with Lamar, you'd be able to do that.
Can I ask you something?
But I'm not giving up the assets, and I'm not paying
If John Harbaugh,
that's the
top
problem.
5, top 6 coach in the NFL, struggles at times to make it work, the hell is Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson going to do?
What do you mean struggles to make it work? Like, yeah, are you talking
They
about?
haven't even gotten their offense figured out.
Are you talking about the 45-14 regular season record
I'm not talking
Lamar
about
has?
Lamar's record. I'm talking about the offense.
Well, if you
help me here,
look at the offense. Whose offense would you take, Ravens or Lions? Now?
Lions
with talent.
With talent,
like as a complete offense, I guess.
I mean, it's not even close. It's
right.
The Lions.
So situationally, I would agree he'd be better suited here. But the assets and paying
I don't
him,
agree
I'm not
with
for
that
it.
though. Why is Lamar better here?
You don't think with?
Because you have to completely change you have to completely change your offense.
Adam,
wait.
Okay.
You can't copy paste.
Okay, go on.
The offense that you saw last year to the offense you would see next year with Lamar Jackson. That's not reality. You don't copy paste everything over and now you have an MVP at quarterback. That's not how this works. You have to build everything around Lamar's legs, not his arm. I will pass. No more Lamar Jackson talk. Please fuck yourselves. I'm not interested. I don't want to hear it. You want to call the Ermanni and Edwards show and make the case? You want to call Big D Energy? You want to call the heavyweights? You want to call John King? You want to call my mother?
No.
You want to call my dead grandmother? I don't give a fuck.
And by the way,
don't call me.
I'm not saying go get Lamar, but I will not allow the blasphemy that is coming out of your mouth right now. That he would not be better in Detroit.
He wouldn't be better in
crazy?
Detroit. No, he wouldn't be better than Jared Goff was last year. He wouldn't put up better numbers than Jared Goff did last year. That's
Passing,
a fact.
maybe not.
That's a fact. Lamar MVP offense was borderline unstoppable. Yes, Black Star, until they got to the playoffs and he couldn't do shit and he threw multiple interceptions, right? Oh, and he only has one career playoff
I'm just saying.
and he hasn't finished the last 2 regular seasons, right?
I'm just saying. with that
Keep
offensive
talking about
line,
4 or 5 years ago.
with those weapons, with Ben Johnson, with that running game.
You pussies.
Come
we
on.
did this with Cam Newton. He won an MVP, and we extended his runway for 3, 4, 5 extra years that he just didn't deserve because we held on to he was an MVP quarterback. You pussies. All of you.
Chuck says,
don't call in the show ever again if you're going to bring up Lamar Jackson. It's unacceptable. Jared Goff's the goddamn quarterback of this football team.
Chuck says,
shame on you guys.
Chuck says, Jeff, OCs have their style. You don't know if Ben and Lamar could work. All I know from Ben is he's a smart individual. He's a creative individual. And he built an offense and helped do it to Jared Goff's strengths.
What was Jared Goff's record down the stretch in the last 10 games? I know it's a short sample size, but work with me. 8-2.
Yep.
When, there's a caveat to that. When the Lions had a top 15 defense, 8-2. Lamar Jackson has had a top 10 defense every year he's been in Baltimore. And he has a 60-70% win rate. Jared Goff, top 15 defense, very similar win rate. Why? Oh, I don't know. Team game, yes, of course. But I don't want to hear this. We got to move on. We have a lot of people to get to. Who is Wes, by the way, thank you for the call. You really completely ruined my morning, buddy, so I appreciate you. Shout out. Let's go to Kyle. Kyle, you're on the morning show. Anything but Lamar Jackson, or I have to hang up on you.
Can we please just take our hats off for a second and look at Graham Glasgow as solidifying the #1 offensive line in the NFL?
Talk to me.
Can we take a moment just to revel in the fact that Detroit officially has the #1 offensive line in the NFL for the first time in my lifetime and all of your lifetimes, because they have never had a #1 offensive line. They've never even had a top 15 offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like
now. With that being said, I think Stetson Bennett late rounds. Believe it or not, I think the kid is well overlooked, and I think he'd do great things for this offense. And on top of that, he doesn't have to be a starter. He can just mirror Jared Goff and be a Jared Goff backup. Jared Goff is better than Lamar Jackson, and he was last year, and he will be this year. I mean, Lamar Jackson, I'm not saying he's not great. He was great at one point in time 4 years ago, but that's 4 years ago. Since then, what has he done? Nothing. He's done nothing. He can't win in the postseason. I'm sorry. I don't want Lamar Jackson. I think Stetson Bennett would be a good one. I know I keep saying
so you're
Stetson
on board with
just
the
because
idea
it's
of taking
hilarious.
a flyer. Somebody second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round.
I'm telling you right now, if Anthony Richardson, which I predict Anthony Richardson is Malik Willis, is last year's Malik Willis. If Anthony Richardson falls to the second round, take a flyer on him.
So, Kyle, I can't let you get away with what you just said. Listen, I appreciate the call.
No, he's right.
I can't listen, Kyle. Listen, Kyle. So, Stetson Bennett.
I know. We've had this conversation before.
We have, Kyle. Listen, me and you go back and forth. Stetson Bennett, I don't mind it. But how can I trust your opinion about Stetson Bennett when you just said out of your mouth that Jared Goff is better than Lamar Jackson?
Was he or was he not better than Lamar Jackson last year?
Correct, he was last year. But who's a better overall player?
You can't just take one MVP from 4 years ago and say this guy is automatically better.
You're taking just last season, so I can't use the MVP season.
Yeah, it's not 4 years ago.
Who's won more playoff games?
Jared Goff with
throws more
weapons at offensive line, a run game, and Sean McVay. He's won more, of course.
Yeah. But in Detroit's never had an offensive line until last year. They've never had an offensive line.
Kyle, listen, I don't want to hate on Goff. I'm not trying to hate on Goff. I
know.
And honestly, though, I respect, especially Lions fans they'll go to war for Goff, because I think Goff deserves more respect. He does get disrespected in this league. But
he was spit on when he first came here. That's why. And now all of a sudden he's making something of himself, and now everyone wants to get rid of him.
Well, I wonder why. Kyle, he didn't have a great 2 years in L.A. It wasn't that great. But I get it. All right, I get it. I don't mind Stetson Bennett late in the draft. I'm all for it.
Well done, Kyle. Good call, buddy.
Hey, you guys have a good morning.
You too, man.
Yes,
well
sir.
Done.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't want to spend too much time on Lamar, but this is why I literally gave an entire half hour for this. We'll take a break. We'll come back to the callers. Thank you to everybody who's waiting patiently. We'll get to all of you shortly. But look, to end the Lamar conversation, hear me out. Keep an open mind when I say this. You know me.
I do.
Not my cup of tea does not mean he's not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, you've been consistent.
Fair?
Yeah, you've been consistent with that.
147, 176, 159, 133, 112. The amount of carries he's had every single year in his career. And they've declined because now he's getting hurt. 5 years in the NFL, 700 plus carries, 4,000 plus yards, averaging 6 yards a clip. Phenomenal. Concerning. He hasn't finished the last 2 years. You could argue last year because he was trying to get the contract situation figured out. Fine, let's say I give you that. But it doesn't eliminate the fact that my quarterback is running the ball on average 11 times a game. 11.3 actually. 11.3 times a game. Jalen Hurts did that this year. I would love to see Hurts do that for another 4 years. It's unrealistic. That's why I don't want to pay Lamar, let alone trade 2 first-round picks and have to pay him. Just my thoughts. Some people maybe will go a little bit overboard with maybe discrediting Lamar, but to me, it's not discrediting. It's just the reality. Tom Brady tore his ACL in his career. Joe Burrow tore his ACL in the pocket. You can make those arguments.
Lamar was hurt last year in the pocket.
But when you run the ball that much, we'll be having this conversation about Justin Fields and, unfortunately, eventually about Jalen Hurts. It's not sustainable. Just isn't. We'll take a break. When we get back, more calls coming up next. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Cintron.
Well, Cintron, guys, is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. And right now, they have an exclusive offer for Woodward Sports fans and their limited edition Red Wings 6-pack. Only $15 plus free shipping. Check it out. Head to drinkcintron.com/Woodward and try it today. All 3 delicious Cintron flavors in one. Classic sugar-free, and cranberry. That's drinkcintron.com/Woodward.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. Baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Let me tell you about our friends over at Alta, because at Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today.
I want to continue the conversation. What do you guys think should happen at the quarterback position? Jared Goff is the starter this year. Do you draft one at 6? Do you draft one in the later rounds? Or do you just wait before camp starts and you pick up somebody in free agency? It's up to you. We'll get to Eric. Eric, you're on the Morning Woodward Show. Then we'll get to Ted right after. Eric, good morning. What do you got for us, buddy?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Good morning.
All right. So let me just start by saying that I am a huge Jared Goff hater. I think that most of his Super Bowl season is attributed to Todd Gurley being prolific.
I think that's fair.
Now, having said that, I have no appetite for Lamar Jackson. I think that is just a tremendous setback, and that's not looking forward in the way that, you want to be looking. So, at number 6, if you've got Will Anderson and Jalen Carter off the board, I don't know what you do, right? Like, you just addressed your cornerback situation, so you don't necessarily need to draft a Christian Gonzalez or whomever. But I don't know what you need to do at 6, but you hope that you're not picking there for the next 4 years. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's what you do with that number 6 pick. And then at number 18, maybe you grab the tackle out of Pittsburgh or cornerback out of Penn State, or whatever you think that you need. But at this point, I don't know. They did a great job in free agency, and what else do you need at 6? Especially if Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are gone.
If Will Anderson, Jalen Carter are gone by 6, I think realistically it has to be a defensive lineman, whether it's Tyree Wilson, Kalijah Cansey, Lucas Van Ness. I'm just going to throw out every defensive lineman name, really, for the sake of argument. That's who they should take. It shouldn't be Beydoun. It shouldn't be a wide receiver. It shouldn't be anything other than a defensive lineman that can add to this pass rush. That's what I think. I like the idea of taking a flyer. Again, I'm not opposed to it, Jeff. The caller before, Stetson Bennett.
Clayton Tune.
Clayton, I get it. I don't mind it. I'm not opposed to it. But for me, Jared Goff's a starting quarterback. If Dan Campbell can't win with him, what's to make me think he can win with a rookie quarterback, let alone a one-year quarterback who sits his first year? I got to see it. Show me. That's why I love the Kansas City model so much. Eric, well done, buddy. Thank you for the comment.
Isn't this the same as the Kansas City model, though? You had Alex Smith, who was a Pro Bowl quarterback.
That's what I think.
Jared Goff last year.
People calling me crazy, so I don't know. That's what I think. I think we have a situation where you have a 5-year window right now based on contracts, realistically. If Goff wins, well, cool. You can extend him a year or two and give him a 2-year contract when his contract expires in 2 years. And then between now and then, you have time. But again, if Brad Holmes thinks the guy is in this draft, he's not going to get him at 6 unless they're fortunate and he falls to him.
And he very well could if Will Anderson and Jalen Carter, are both taken.
Yep.
That's 2 of the 6.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I'll let you guys go. Thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate it, guys.
Yep, appreciate it, Eric.
Yeah, cheers.
You see the poll I just threw up in the chat?
What is it? What's the percentage?
It's real talk. Who's better, Lamar or Jared Goff?
Yeah,
Jared Goff has 62% of the votes.
100%. 62% of the people.
You're all blinded.
No, this is called a democracy, and the people never fucking lie, ever. Ted, you're on the morning show. Good morning, buddy. What would you like to see the Lions do?
Well, I've been following the Lions for a lot of years. I'm 91 years old this month.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. And
God bless you.
I know the history of the general managers. I can go down through them. They were all crap. You got a guy now that knows what he's doing. I trust him whatever he does. So far, his moves have been great. I dread the thought that they would pay the money to Lamar and destroy the cap after he straightened it up. And as Bradshaw said, quarterbacks that run, eventually they get broken. So I would like to see Holmes take a flyer on one of the guys down the line for a project and go out and get a backup free agent. I was scared to death they might consider Lamar.
Thankfully, I think that's off the table.
Well, I hope they got it. Well, I don't think Holmes would do it. He's too smart to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, to pay the kind of money.
Exactly.
What do you got left to? What have you got left to pay the other players when you start paying out $50 million to a guy that isn't playing?
True.
Nothing.
True.
The Bengals can't afford Jesse Bates.
You had Russ Thomas. He was a flop, and it's too long to go into the history. Then came Matt Dillon, Smith.
Yep.
Smith or Schmidt.
Schmidt. It was Schmidt.
He's a graduate of account. Michigan. He was not a football man. They plugged him in for a while.
Drinking buddy.
Then they had Matt Dillon. You know the history of him, and then his assistant Matt Mayu. He drafted a tight end, Ebron, instead of drafting
Aaron Donald.
He could have got third, and that was just stupid because they knew they were going to lose.
Yeah, that's what we're known for, unfortunately. Well, look, it's been 3 decades, Ted, since they've won a division, let alone a playoff game. I've never believed that they're any closer than they are this year. So we'll see what happens. I appreciate the call, Ted. Stay safe, and God bless you, man. Thank you for calling.
Ted's a lot smarter than a lot of people I know my age. So, Ted, I give you a lot of credit, man. Thanks for tuning into the show.
Thank you.
Take care. 91.
Very intellectual man at 91 years old. That's the goal, man.
He sounds young.
He does. He was chilling. Lions fan. The crap he's had to deal with, though. That's the. I feel bad.
So I'm gonna remember Ted this year. When January 8th, they win the division.
Yep.
I'm gonna think of Ted first. Seriously,
Ted deserves it
because those are the people that have lived their lives waiting for something. Hopefully, they finally get it.
Can we get some thank you Teds? WoodwardSports.com. Put him in the chat for Ted because he deserves it. He served for being a Lions fan.
All right.
He served.
We have somebody on the line who has beef with you. Terrell, you're on the morning show. I'm going to let you talk to Jeff directly. I'm going to stay out of this. I'm going to shut my mouth. Floor's yours, buddy.
Thank you, Adam. Now, if my voice goes out, I'm going to let y'all ahead of time. I'm a little bit sick. But Jeff, what is the quarterback's job?
Yeah, Jeff.
It's a very simple question. What is the quarterback's job?
What's his job?
Well, he touches the ball every play, Terrell, and his job is to go out there, play well, and win some games.
Is that so?
Yeah.
No. I mean, that's a very, very generic, general version. The quarterback's job is to facilitate the offense, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
I hope so.
Yes. The quarterback's job is to get the ball to the playmakers on offense. The quarterback's job is not to be the playmaker with his legs on offense. Name me a quarterback in all of NFL history whose primary weapon was his legs, who had a long, outstanding career and won Super Bowls.
Well,
I'll wait.
Listen.
There isn't any.
Terrell.
There isn't any, bro. Jared Goff is a better passer. Hold on. Jared Goff is a better passer than Lamar Jackson, okay? Number one. Number two, you can't trust his legs, so I'm never giving a dude $250,000 that you can't trust his body, period. Number three, do you really think that Dan Campbell and fucking Brad Holmes are going to bring Lamar Jackson's pussy ass to our team when he sat there on the sidelines and watched his team lose in a playoff game because he was bitching and crying over fucking money, bro? Hell no. We are never bringing a dude like that onto our fucking team.
Terrell.
He's a pussy, bro. I don't want that dude on my squad. He's a bitch.
Terrell, are you wearing a Lions onesie as you say this?
He can wear.
That is the most
underwear right now.
That is the most homer take. That is the most homer take, Terrell, I've ever heard.
Come on.
I don't care.
That man. Okay.
He's right.
Listen, Terrell. So you know what's crazy too? If you think about this crazy stat, even though he's a better passer than Lamar still has more passing touchdowns than he's ever had in his entire career in a season. Added 1,000 yards onto that. He's more dynamic. He's a better player. I never said the Lions should go after Terrell, but if you're telling me that Jared freaking Goff is a better quarterback, a better player than Lamar Jackson, I want whatever you're smoking. I do.
Lamar Jackson.
That is, he is a unanimous MVP. I'll say it again. In a unanimous MVP. He hasn't been healthy the last 2 seasons. I will give you that. But if you're in a fantasy draft and you're a GM, Terrell.
It's not fantasy football.
Hold on. Who are you Terrell, let's say we take all the quarterbacks, throw them in here, and you're a GM.
Get him, Jeff.
You have a pick. You have Lamar and Jared Goff. Who are you taking? If you're a GM, don't talk about contracts. Don't talk about health. As a player, who are you taking? Who are you taking?
Right now?
You're taking Lamar Jackson every single time. You're taking Lamar Jackson.
No, not right now.
If you take
not
Jared Goff, you will be fired that minute. You will be fired that minute.
4 years ago, I would have agreed with you. You can't pick him in 2023 because you can't trust his legs now. He's got too many miles on him. Adam's been telling you that all day.
So
let me be the voice of reason. All right? Everybody calm the fuck down.
What about the playoff stuff? Let him answer the playoff stuff, though.
Terrell, I got you. Let me bring everybody together right now. Kumbaya, man,
all right,
okay?
Talk to me.
Look, I think we can all agree. Lamar Jackson, very special, quote, talent. I think he's a very talented player. I think he's among the league's most talented players right now. He's unbelievable. Cool. Lamar Jackson also, by the way, is going to cost roughly, I would imagine, $48 to $50 million given the current NFL quarterback market. Fair? Cool. All right. So we in Detroit have a quarterback that gets paid $30 million that has threw for more yards last year than Lamar Jackson ever has in his career, who threw for only 8 interceptions? 7 interceptions last year, I believe Jared Goff only threw. And yes, you're correct. He's never thrown 36 touchdowns in his career, but he's been pretty damn close multiple times. Last year he had 29. Lamar Jackson eclipsed 30 touchdowns once in his career. Jared Goff, much more than that. Lamar Jackson, in his 5 seasons, has failed to throw 20 touchdown passes 3 out of the 5 years. And he's thrown more interceptions year over year the last 3 years in terms of interceptions per attempt. So look, I'm not going to sit here and say Lamar isn't special or talented, but I'm going to go back to Terrell's original point. When your legs are the primary threat, I'm out. It's preference. It doesn't mean Lamar's not really good, or that you can't win with Lamar, or that he's not an uber-talented quarterback. But when your primary is your legs,
quitter, bro.
I agree with Terrell. Give me Jared Goff over a quarterback whose legs are his primary threat.
Okay.
I'll let you rebuttal,
He's a
Jeff.
soft quitter, though, bro.
Terrell, why
would you ever do that, Jeff?
Terrell,
would you ever do that?
No, I wouldn't play
would
either.
You ever? No, exactly.
I got to get my chicken, Terrell. I need my money. If my money's there, Terrell, I'm hurt. I'm not going to go play a playoff game, blow my knee out.
Is that an Italian thing? I got to get my chicken. I thought for Italians it would be like I got to get my pasta.
I got to get listen. Well, you call whatever you want. I got to get my pasta, my lasagna, whatever you want to call it. I got to get my money, Terrell.
Whatever.
I got to get my money. So I don't blame him for not playing. I think that gets mixed. He's a quitter. I don't agree with that.
I love both of you.
Well, I
gotta
love
go
you,
to break,
but
though. I gotta go to
love
break.
you, Jeff.
Terrell, I love you,
Lamar
man.
Jackson.
Terrell,
Okay.
well done, buddy. Well done, buddy. Great call, man. We appreciate it.
Bye.
Goodbye, man. Jeff,
I love
you.
Terrell. He fires me up, man, every time.
We'll go to break. When we get back, top of the hour, we'll get this whole thing back on track. You know what? I do want to shift, but my goodness, there are so many of you that are calling in. I can't keep up. Maybe we'll continue calls next, or we'll move on to a false narrative, I believe, on one draft prospect. Jeff and I will talk in the break, see what we're going to do. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Let me tell you about him. We talk about defense, and now mind you, Lamar's had a pretty good defense, but he hasn't had defense like Guardian Alarm. It's a new year. Allow Guardian Alarm to help you. They got customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. They also have 24/7 professional monitoring. You can call them anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you for as long as you need. Your safety and security deserves technology that's not only been proven to work, but people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT today.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry. Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
All right, let me tell you about my good friends over at Custom Health Centers. What are you waiting for? Huh? Look at Gary. Gary down 62 pounds. You don't believe Gary? Go believe Ryan Ermanni. He's down over 20 pounds since they've started their health journeys with Custom Health Centers. Dr. Jason and his phenomenal team have changed the lives of so many people. 844-789-8446 is the number. Give them a call and change your health and your future today. Ooh, look at this speed. What are we, in the club? What are you doing, JB? You trying to turn me on? I don't appreciate sexual advances on the show, JB.
Oh,
so you know.
You know, it's early in the morning. Gotta wake you up a little bit.
Yeah,
Well,
you need the vibes going.
JB, I gotta ask because you know what, we're gonna take a few more callers and then move on to some prospects. You heard the whole Lamar conversation.
Yeah.
You heard the whole backup quarterback conversation, the drafting a quarterback conversation. Where are you at?
Draft a backup quarterback.
Draft the backup. Now,
Draft
is
the
that
backup.
high in the draft or
no,
later on?
Oh, no. That is probably like your last two picks that you got. Take a flyer on either Clayton Tune or, I hate to say this, but yeah, it's Stetson Bennett at some point in time. Just a flyer. Like,
JB, you know where I'm going with this.
Oh,
Caveat. Who's better, Lamar or Jared Goff?
Well, Lamar, yes.
Talk to him, JB!
But
I just needed it. That's all.
JB's racist. He can't give you an honest answer.
JB is a fax machine, and he just printing out more facts.
No.
So, hey, I knew the answer. I just wanted to hear him say it.
Oh, God, I'm going to hell. 100%. I already booked my ticket 4 years ago. What are you going to do? Oh, God. Look, I'm not going to harp on it. Please don't call it with any more Lamar Jackson. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, that took a turn. It started with one call, and
I can't do it for
it's
today.
all Lamar.
Trey, you're on the Morning Woodward Show. Good morning, buddy. What do you got for us, man?
Hey, what's going on? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Cool. I know we're done with Lamar. I just want to say something. Doesn't really got to be talked about. But first off, the last dude, oh, my God. For real, though. for somebody to make such disrespectful and hateful comments about the shit, like, when all you know is what the media puts out, like, that's just ignorant in my opinion. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion about it. And me, I don't want them to pursue Lamar.
But I think we all agree the Ravens are doing him a little dirty.
Yeah, the Ravens are, definitely.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Obviously, I don't want to pursue him because I don't want to pay that much. It kind of takes away from what I think Brad Holmes is building and how he's building. But as far as what I would prefer to do, the only reason I think that they should take a quarterback at 6 is if Brad Holmes is like, this is the guy, whoever that would be. Otherwise, if he's not 100% convinced that this is the guy, because usually, like you had said before, when a GM takes quarterback high in the draft, it kind of starts their clock as far as what they're going to do and where they're going to be once this quarterback comes in. But that's kind of how I feel about that situation.
You know,
and
can I ask you something? And
What's up, boss?
you know, I brought it up earlier, and I said the only like cop out, if you want to call it a cop out, is the only reason or the only way I changed my mind off of this, you know, Kansas City model that I like to believe is what the Lions can and are on pace to do, is if Brad Holmes says, "Hey, this is the guy," like you mentioned. But my question for you is the timeline or this window for winning. It can be as long as they want it to be, even with Goff. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think my point is, or my thought is, obviously, for example, depending on how much Goff wants, but say you draft somebody at 6 that you really like, and he's the guy moving forward, and then, you know, this year and maybe even next year, Goff continues to perform at a high level. I mean, to me, you really don't have to push that guy to come in and start until he takes over that starting role. You know what I mean? Like kind of like you were talking about. Like, I know Patrick Mahomes was earlier than, like, say, Rodgers to Brett Favre was, you know, some shit like that. But that's kind of the benefit of having that good quarterback, is you can kind of make that judgment call when it comes. And then when you do make that call to move on from him, you do have that guy that can step in right away and continue on that success for multiple years to come still.
I don't disagree. I don't at all, to be honest with you. Look, you brought up Lamar a little bit. I think they're doing him a little dirty. I think they're playing a little game. Do I think he's a very good quarterback? Yeah, I do. But for Detroit, me personally, I'm with you. I like Jared Goff. I'm not trying to pay a quarterback $20 million more than I'm already paying Goff.
Right.
It's just a big headache.
Right.
So
yeah, if we were in a different situation, I could see the possibility of it. But just as far as a team in a whole and where we are at the moment, it's just wouldn't be the right thing to do.
I would agree.
And my other thing too of it, just real quick though, the thing at 6, ever since this whole shit with Jalen Carter and the pro day and shit, I'm kind of like, I don't know who the fuck to take, because I know there's a lot of good players. I know, Adam, you're fucking obsessed with Kalijah Kancey.
Yep.
I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but for me, I see him more as like that, 8 to 11 range.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
It's hard for me to say at 6, but at the same time, it's like, who the fuck do you take if you don't?
Well, that's the
and you
problem,
don't like-
though, Trey. See, you and me are actually on the same page with this. It's who is it outside of if Carter and Anderson are gone.
Right.
There is no defensive player that is a sure lock that you're going to want to take at 6 and fall in love with. Now, to me, it has to be a defensive lineman, whether Tyree Wilson, Kalijah Cansey, I don't care. But when you start talking to me about a corner or a safety at 6, then I'm going to get really upset because then I can't justify the value. It's always about, what value am I getting out of the 6th overall pick? I don't think there's a Sauce Gardner in this draft or a Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn. So, yeah, man, spot on.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Trey.
Well done, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
Welcome back anytime, Trey. Good job, man. By the way, I'm in love with Kalijah Cansey, right? That's the horrible kept secret, right?
That's this year's cocaine.
That to me, it's the cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
But when he says, I think he's between 8 and 11, I think that's fair. I think that's wrong. I don't at all. But you're not picking between 8 and 11. And when you're at 6 and the guys you want are on the board or off the board, you have to make tough decisions. Players are going to get passed on. And you have to have the commitment, the confidence to select your guy. I'm not saying Kalijah Cansey is going to be the next Aaron Donald. That would be so irresponsible. Aaron Donald is one of the 5 greatest defensive players I've ever watched in NFL history. He's up there with Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, Deion Sanders. That's where Aaron Donald is. You're not allowed to compare any prospect to Aaron Donald. That's not how this works. But he measures off the charts. His film is uber productive.
Mm-hmm.
He's explosive off the line of scrimmage. I don't want to give away the next segment, but there are so many things outside of, he's from Pitt, he's undersized, he's got shorter arms, lots of leverage. Everybody's saying Aaron Donald. That's just a bunch of crap. That's just people who aren't even digging into the issue. So that's how I feel about the situation, Jeff. Let's go to Mike. Mike is on the line. Mike, good morning. What do you got for us, buddy?
Hey, good morning. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
sir.
I
Good
completely
morning.
forgot that today was that.
Yeah, no green.
Hey, why don't you guys go up to Art Van and get Wes a couch so him and Lamar can watch the Lions play football?
I'm all for it.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
my God.
Gotta love the villain this year. He's doing awesome, isn't he?
Oh, God. Look, man, I agree with you. I'm not trying to hate on Lamar. It's just a reality. I just would prefer Jared Goff with this football team next year and the year after. So,
Right.
But go ahead, Mike. It's all you. What do you got?
I got Cansey at number 6.
Okay.
Big play. Draft a quarterback late. No hurry to draft anybody. Goff is playing good ball.
Can I ask you something? Because he said, I think, something very important. I think Jeff would agree with this. There's no rush to draft a quarterback because you have Jared Goff in the interim. But if Brad Holmes goes out, Mike, and he picks his guy this year, whether at 6 or he moves up from 18, if he takes his guy, I don't think anybody complains, even if they don't love the player, because, well, Brad Holmes, 1, made the decision, and 2, clock starts ticking, no?
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's all I got to say. You guys have a great day.
Appreciate it, Mike.
You too,
well
Mike.
done,
Appreciate
buddy.
the call.
I don't think anybody's going to complain about what Brad Holmes does at this point. I think he's earned the right to draft a player. I think we in this town want to see him draft a quarterback, but I think we also have to be patient. Like I said, Trubisky was the first quarterback off the board. Mahomes was the second. Yeah. By the time the Lions could take one, they're taking the 4th available quarterback. Not best, but available. That, to me, not ideal in any draft class. You look at the Trevor Lawrence class. It was Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones.
Mac Jones was the 4th.
If you were to rank them, Mac Jones. Mac Jones went before Fields?
No, after him.
Yeah, so he's
5th.
the 5th. Yeah.
Excuse me. That's what I meant.
Well, that's my point is how much of a gap is there between Lawrence and then number 2 on that list? Anybody.
Well, it's
between him and Mac, between him and Fields, it's significant.
That's more on the Jets.
But that's not only Wilson. I'm talking about the gap between Lawrence and Lance, Lawrence and Fields, Lawrence and all of them.
He's far better.
Way better. So those teams were taking the second, third, fourth, fifth quarterback available. Mac Jones better than all of them, you could argue right now. Fields up there at third easily. And then Lance to be determined. Zach Wilson a complete bust. That's the game. That's the risk you run in any draft. So, yeah, it's difficult. But, look, let's take a break. When we get back, I want to talk about Kalijah Kancey. We hinted at it a little bit. I just want to address what I think are a few very common misunderstandings with the player out of Pitt. He gets the Aaron Donald comps all the time. I think it's irresponsible. But we'll get to all that and more coming up next. But before we do, Jeff, our good friends over at Swiss Insurance.
Well, guys, let me tell you about our friends over at Swiss Insurance, and you can check up with them this week for your commercial insurance review. Swiss will make sure you have the proper coverage. Give them a call. You will not be disappointed. Contact them, Mark at SwissINS.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. Some favorites during Lent like shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and the new fish sandwich. Get to your local Big Boy today. Don't forget the all-you-can-eat fish fry buffet on Friday nights.
All right. We're back here on the Morning Woodward Show, live, woodwardsports.com. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate. Not tuning in live, watching after the fact, make sure you go download our podcast. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, we'll be there. Leave a 5-star review. Jeff's sexy ass. He's trying to make that pasta.
Yo. Well, yeah, that is true.
JB, I got a question for you, buddy.
What's going on?
If you were the general manager today, okay?
Okay.
And how do I do this for JB? I think I should select maybe the first five picks, right? So let's assume the Panthers take Bryce Young, okay? Let's also assume that CJ Stroud goes to the Houston Texans. And the Arizona Cardinals don't trade back, and they draft Will Anderson. And the Colts draft Will Levis. And the Seahawks don't want to pass on a guy like Jalen Carter. They're willing to take the risk. So Carter goes 5, and at 6, your big board is Anthony Richardson, Tyree Wilson, Christian Gonzalez, Kalijah Kancey, Brian Branch, Lucas Van Ness. What does JB do this morning?
Oh, that's a tough one. All right. So Anthony Richardson is still there.
Anthony Richardson is available.
I am not taking a QB that high, that early. No disrespect to Anthony Richardson. But if I'm in that position, I'm probably trying to see if I could trade back with either the Raiders or Atlanta to see what they would want.
Can I ask you something, though? Realistically, why would you trade up if you're the Raiders or Atlanta when you just signed quarterbacks?
You just signed, backup quarterbacks?
Well, not really. No, Jimmy G's going to be the starter in Vegas, and I don't agree with what Atlanta did.
What is going on
I don't
outside?
know. Somebody died, but what are you going to do? I don't agree with what Atlanta did, but they did sign Heineke, and they're paying him a lot of money. He's going to start next year.
That's true, too.
So I don't think they're going to give up the picks, but let's say you can't trade back.
Can't trade back?
Gun to your head. You have to make a decision this morning. What do? You tell me you don't want a quarterback, so what is it?
I'm taking Kancey.
You're taking Kancey.
Yeah. No
okay, wow.
disrespect to Christian Gonzalez. He was my pick a while ago, but seeing the moves that Brad Holmes has just made, or the moves that I would make if I was a GM, then yeah, I'm taking Kancey.
Wow. Okay, I was expecting you to say Tyree Wilson, to be honest with you, but I'm glad you brought up Kancey, because that is exactly who this discussion is about. And the reason I asked you this is because we need to get comfortable with the idea that it's going to be Kancey, Tyree Wilson, Christian Gonzalez, Brian Branch, Lucas Van Ness, Joey Porter Jr.
I think Jalen Carter. I think he has a chance to be there at 6. I really do.
After what you saw,
that pro day.
After what you saw, you're gonna still select him at 6.
Well, I'm not saying it's tough. That's something Brad's gonna have to decide. They get to interview him, so they'll know more about the prospect itself than we will. But if you're talking Kalijah Cansey or Jalen Carter, that's where it gets interesting. Because if you're Brad, are you
Prior
taking
to his pro day, I would have said Jalen Carter.
Right? Are you taking Jalen Carter even with the off the field issues because you know how talented he is on the field and what he can do, or Kalijah Cansey, who has 0 question marks off the field and it was super productive at Pitt? Like that's, and right now we have a poll I put up. It's who would you take at 6 for the Lions? Christian Gonzalez, Anthony Richardson, Kalijah Cansey, or Jalen Carter? Jalen Carter and Kalijah Cansey, 2 most highest votes. 45% say Jalen Carter, 33% say Cansey, and the next 2 are split.
33% have a little bit of sense of what's going on in the room. The other 45%, again, I saw your comments yesterday on our YouTube channel. I saw the comments about if you guys were in Jalen Carter's situation, you would fold under the pressure too. Well, fuckface, I'm not paid $13 million a year to be one of the best defensive tackles in all of football. Fuckface. If he can't handle the pressure of losing a loved one and driving 44 over the speed limit and showing up overweight when he's under stress, what the fuck is this individual going to do in a high-pressure football game? In the fourth quarter, when he's exhausted like everybody else, is he going to dig deep and find the extra energy, that extra willpower to will him through the game? To make that final singular play that wins his team a game? That's not what I saw at the pro day. What I saw is a guy that showed up, was tired, didn't want to be there, and was just going through the motion. To me, I'm not saying he's a bad person, but that's a job interview, man. And some people flunk the job interview and then go on to be very successful. That happens.
Right.
But when you ask me to spend the 6th overall pick and you give me that much to think about, I don't want to have to think about you.
Right.
I want to draft you like Aiden Hutchinson and put you away. I don't have to think about Aiden Hutchinson for the next decade.
Never.
I don't want to have to think that this guy could be a Nick Fairley or who was the fat fuck? Albert Hainsworth.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to have to think about those comps. I want to think of Jalen Carter as a John Hargraves and Eric Armstead, among one of the best interior linemen, Quinnen Williams. That's what I would love to think about him. That's what his tape suggests. But you show up to a job interview like that, you got a lot to come back from.
I love this comment Garrett puts. He says, can't take Carter as things are. Campbell's rules are don't be late, don't show up overweight, and respect the game. No way they take him. Joey also says in the chat, if Holmes, and WoodwardSports.com, if Holmes and Campbell pull the trigger on Carter, I'll be okay with it. If anyone can get Carter back on track, it's Campbell. I can't blame people who don't want the risk at 6, though. I kind of agree with both points.
You got to be ready to play.
Got to be ready to play. I mean, there you go.
That's the reality of life, guys. Look, I'm not telling you Carter isn't talented.
Oh, he is.
We all know he's talented. You know who else was talented? Jamarcus Russell was talented.
Okay, well.
No. Don't fuck with me now. We're being real here. Sam Bradford was talented. Different reasons, not character issues. For Jamarcus, it was character issues. And Ndamukong Suh. The Lions drafted Ndamukong Suh. He was all-pro year 1. He should have gone number 1 overall, in my opinion. Rams went with Bradford. Thank you. He gave you 1 all-pro season. And Ndamukong Suh in Detroit was a bust. Because you drafted him number 2 overall, and he left after his first contract expired, and he never gave you a double-digit sack season outside of his first year. Production went down and down and down every single year after that.
Yeah.
And then he left to Miami. And then he recovered. He had a good ending to his career. But he was a bust. And that's Ndamukong Suh. Think about that. Think about that before you tell me Jalen Carter, character this, character that. Your ability to control your emotions in high-stress situations is what separates the elite from the average Joes. You don't believe me? Go look at how cops in the United States of America handle high-stress situations, and go compare that to your Green Berets, your Navy SEALs, your Special Forces in general in the United States, in your military. Completely different. One's more adept to high-stress situations, the other isn't. Others perform in high-stress situations, others don't.
And let me clarify what you meant by Sue, by the way, because...
No. He's a bust in Detroit. He didn't last us more than one contract.
True.
One All-Pro season was his rookie year.
And you're
I'm
right.
not dogging him, but when I take a guy number 2 overall, I expect a decade of performance. I'd even get him for a second contract. Come on. I'm not hating on Sue. I
agree with your point.
I have an Ndamukong Suh jersey at home. Love the guy.
Right. He did regress as the years went on.
But let's be real
you're
here.
Not
you
wrong.
draft somebody number 2 overall, it's a decade investment.
No,
if
I get
Aiden
it.
Hutchinson leaves after his first contract and never posts more than 7 sacks for the next 3 years, he's a bust, no? So why is it different with Ndamukong Suh?
I mean, yeah, I don't hate it. Now, if Jalen Carter could give me what Sue did in his first couple years, I'm all for it. I'm good. But, yeah. I think when you first hear what you just said, I think people just hear bust and they assume you're saying he was a wasted pick.
Again.
But if you're talking about it in that context over...
Guys, you drafted him number 2 overall. He played 5 years with you, okay? He was an All-Pro, I want to say 3 times. He was a 3-time All-Pro. He was... was he 3? I'm pretty sure he was 3-time All-Pro. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But year 1, 10 sacks, and then 4, and then 8, and then 5.5, and then 8.5.
Yeah, I get that.
His last year was arguably, to be honest, his best year as a professional. But the character, the antics, the stomping on people, the unnecessary roughness penalties, it was a disaster. I'm not telling you Ndamukong Suh is a bust in terms of he's a player, but as a pick, I got him for 5 years, and I drafted him number 2 overall. That's a miss, guys. That's a miss.
Yeah, maybe he didn't have the longevity we expected, but
it's a miss.
When he came out, he was a beast.
He was phenomenal.
He was a
Who
beast.
doesn't love Ndamukong Suh? He's fucking great.
But again, if you come out your rookie year and have 10 sacks...
He was All-Pro year 1.
Right. Like, you expect, 10 sacks, 12 sacks, 13 sacks. Like, you expect him to consistently improve. Listen, he maybe didn't have the career you would expect a number 2 overall pick to have, but
again,
I'll take that.
I really think you're not understanding me this morning. Let me try to say this slowly.
I'll draft him all over again.
For only 5 years?
To give me what he gave me?
He gave you, again,
They
a
just
lot.
couldn't retain him?
But you're also, what he gave you compared to also all the on-the-field issues he gave you. How many games he was suspended. All the unnecessary roughness penalties. Some that costed you games. Again, I'm not saying Ndamukong Suh he was great coming out. He was All-Pro year 1. He made 3 All-Pros, I'm pretty sure, in 5-year span.
Yeah.
But I spent the number 2 overall pick on a guy that didn't last more than 5 years with my team. How am I supposed to feel good about that? How? You're a GM, all of you. You're at home. You're a GM. A number 2 overall pick. If Aiden Hutchinson gets you 28 sacks in his first 5 years,
it's not good,
and then walks, that's okay. But he made 3 All-Pros. But that's okay?
I mean, you'd expect the sacks to be more for number 2 overall pick.
Well, that's what Ndamukong Suh was too.
Right. And especially if he comes out and plays like that.
I really think nobody's really understanding what I'm saying.
I just think when people
Suh
hear bust...
was the right pick.
Yes.
Well, you hear bust because you didn't get him for long. You got him for 5 years.
And you said the antics and the personality...
At the end, grew old.
Yes.
And he wasn't what... again, what can I say? What can I say? Maybe I'm looking at the situation wrong, but when I take a guy number 2 overall, I don't know, I kind of want to see him re-sign after his first contract.
And I love the people that are like, he's an interior defensive tackle. What do you mean more sacks?
I didn't say more sacks.
It's not necessarily the number of sacks.
He was phenomenal.
It's just the, I guess, where he floated around.
Remember when he killed Ndamukong Suh he killed Donovan McNabb in the preseason?
He was an animal. But if you come out with 10 sacks and you... again, it doesn't matter. I guess we're getting off point here. But I don't think he was a bust, but I get where you're coming from. I do.
Because
you're taking everything into account.
I can't
longevity,
imagine spending a number
antics.
2 overall pick on a player, and he doesn't make it past his first contract.
Yeah.
Again,
George said Sue was a beast, but how many penalties did he cost in late situations?
Yeah, look, again, I'm not telling you Sue wasn't the right pick or that he wasn't phenomenal in that 5-year stretch. But when you're honest with yourself, who spends a number 2 overall pick just to watch the guy leave after his first contract?
No, it's not ideal.
That is shit.
Doesn't mean the pick itself was a bust, but the fact that you couldn't re-sign him,
and also it's contracts were different at the time for rookies and in general for the NFL. So
yeah, that's on the Lions for not re-signing. The pick itself was fine. So that's what I'm trying to get.
But how it ended up was shit. It was a bust. Again, we all conveniently forget how he was acting the last 2 years of his career in Detroit.
Yeah, I don't think that makes him.
And how many games he cost his team, and
no, I get that, but saying just because he wasn't here his whole career, it makes him a bust at number 2 overall. I'll take that production from Jalen Carter. If you gave me what Sue gave the Lions, and he left, I'll take it. Give me 4 or 5 years of that production, I'll be fine. I wouldn't say he's a bust, but we must have our own definition of bust, I guess.
Let me ask you this. You spend a number 2 overall pick. Would you want them to have a career like Trent Williams, Gerald McCoy? Excuse me, not Gerald McCoy. I'm reading this backwards. Apologize. But you want... Okay. I'm not going to get caught up on Dom Kinsu right now.
Yeah, it's really not even
maybe bust is a bit harsh. How about that?
It was disappointing.
Maybe bust is a bit harsh. But I think it's extremely disappointing that you draft somebody number 2 overall. And granted, different regime, different front office, different everything. Different time in Detroit. But you draft him, and he's not your staple, your pillar for 10 years.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
If Aiden left after 5 years and gave you 2 All-Pro seasons, you would be extremely disappointed. Excuse my language. Bust the wrong word. Extremely disappointed, I think, is much more fair.
That he left. Yes, I agree.
Draft somebody number 2 overall just to see them leave? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that take.
All right. We'll take a break. When we get back, we'll go around the NFL. DeAndre Hopkins to the Dallas Cowboys. What does that mean for them? Are they going to pull the deal off? Stafford an option for the Jets? What the hell's going on? Aaron Rodgers? Hello? Hello? Anybody? What are we doing here? Take a break. All that and more coming up next. But before we go, Jeff, our good friends over at Chili Peppers Tanning.
Let me tell you about them. Guys, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find all the cleanest salons in the D with spotless sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. You can join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, 27 locations, and more on the way.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Whew. Well, that was fun. 9:34, Morning Woodward Show. Adham, Beydoun, Jeff, Iafrate. Let's go around the NFL for a little bit. We got about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Let's have some fun. D-Hop, rumored potentially being traded to the Dallas Cowboys. Jeff, I don't think it matters at all. I think Dak Prescott is shit. Here. How about this? I'll give you this. I'd rather have Lamar Jackson than Dak Prescott. Is that good?
Yeah, that's a solid take. I agree with that take. I I do. I really do. Now, DeAndre Hopkins of the Cowboys, I don't give a damn who you send to the Cowboys. You still got Dak Prescott, Dakota Rain Prescott. The Cowboys' biggest mistake to me was trading Amari Cooper, believing that CeeDee Lamb could solely be their number one wide receiver, and paying Zeke. That was the biggest mistake. And now you saw how much they missed Amari last year when CeeDee Lamb, he's a good receiver, but he's not a true number one to where you don't have. In today's league, you need multiple options. They miss Amari. I can tell. They're getting DeAndre Hopkins. Dallas, okay, they got Stephon Gilmore. They get DeAndre Hopkins. You could go get Thanos. I don't give a damn. The Cowboys, to me, still going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. But again, this is what they got to do. You miss Amari Cooper, you go get DeAndre Hopkins. So it is what it is.
Change your mind on the Cowboys contending? Because it doesn't for me. I don't like Dak at all. I have zero faith, zero confidence.
The Cowboys can have it.
If Mike McCarthy thinks, quote, a new voice is going to change Dak Prescott, I might convert religion. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I'll be a Buddhist, and if tomorrow isn't a good day for me, maybe I'll be a Jew. I don't know.
That's interesting.
And if not, I'll be a Christian. And then I'll, what's the other one? Partisan? I don't know.
Buddhist? I don't know.
Not Buddhist. I already said that.
Okay. Well.
What's the other one? Catholic. There you go.
Yes.
I'll be a Catholic.
Catholic.
Or I'll just go worship a cow.
Well, why?
It's my choice. Free country, right?
Well,
I identify as a cow. I want to worship cows.
Can't say nothing.
Bitch.
You can identify as a cow. I honestly don't care. You can do whatever you want.
Mormon. That's another one.
Yeah, Mormon.
Let me try that. I'm going to be a Mormon tomorrow. See how my day goes. Just going to knock on your door. No, that's a Jehovah's Witness, right?
Yeah.
Just knock on your door. Hi, do you have a few minutes to talk about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? No, I don't, actually. I was actually just praying to my Buddhist monk statue over there. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. You're going to hell, sir. All right, good. Have a good day, ma'am. You ever have those conversations?
I haven't.
Oh, that's what my dad always does. Whenever they knock on the door,
he just shuts them down.
I think they intentionally pass my dad's house now. He's been every religion every time he's opened the door. My dad's a goofball.
Just open it and just say...
AT&T called one day trying to get him to convert to Comcast. And it was like at 9 o'clock at night. It was such a ridiculous time for a sales call. So they're calling him, and he's whispering on the phone. We're like, what the fuck is he doing? And he's like, hi, I actually broke into this house, but I can go find their information for you if you want. Just give me a minute. AT&T was like, what the fuck is going on?
Bro's right.
My dad's such a troll, man.
Yeah, you're that... If people are knocking at my doors singing carols, and I'm just telling them I'm atheist, even if I'm not. I'm just saying it. Just get out of here.
I'm just going to tell them
away.
I believe in cement.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my religion for the day.
You can do that.
Ryan Nest asks, if there was a Woodward Sports Draft, who would be your first pick? Jeff Iafrate? Hands down, my first pick is going to be Jeff.
I was going to say, well, besides myself.
Look at this
I'm
guy.
joking. Adam Beydoun. We choose each other. It's a bromance. Honestly, I would love to see that. If we had like a poll, who goes number one overall? I think the top candidates would be,
you and me.
Neil would be up there.
Neil would be up there.
I think Braylon deserves to be up there too. Braylon's really good. And then you got everyone's fan favorite. You got D-Mac. I mean, there's a lot of options.
Let's be real.
Uncle
the true
T.
fan favorite of this network is Mays.
Mays would go. Yeah. He would go as high as he would take Richardson, which is number one overall. You could argue that. So gotta love Mays.
All right, do you shoot trick-or-treaters? I used to, but, I stopped that once the FBI caught on to what I was doing.
Jesus.
What the hell did you just say?
Oh, man.
Oh, God. Sue equals Rasheed Wallace? No. I look, again, Sue had a complicated career. It's complicated. Let's see. JB, number one overall, easy. Maz is a late-round pick. Maz is like... Maz is going to be the Malik Willis of the WSN draft. Everybody will think he'll go round one, and then he falls to the third, fourth round. Poor guy. What are you going to do? Look, other free agent news, by the way. Stafford, not sure what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Could have been
it's a rumor. I'd give it a 0% chance of happening. But what are we doing here?
And this is what I don't like. And this is the league, though. I mean, you saw the report. I can't remember off the top of my head who first reported it, but it was one of the GMs. Was it Lombardi who reported that he is available for trade, and then Les Snead comes out and says, no, he's not. And then this report comes out. It's like, you always listen. When people try to deny those reports that quickly, something's up. And I do believe that Matthew could have been traded. But what does that mean for Sean McVay? One of the best coaches in the NFL.
Well, he's going to go to TV and make $200-300 million.
Should he have
probably.
left this year then? Like, you traded Ramsey,
Man, one more
Bobby
year
Wagner,
with the boys. One more year
with the boys. Okay,
Why not?
I get it.
Why not? You guys, did you catch Easy and Spence yelling over Jalen Carter? Okay, somebody has to tell me their takes because I did not watch it. Who wanted him? Who didn't want him? I'm assuming that was what the argument was. JB, were you there?
Yeah, I was there. I was trying to somewhat keep the peace, but they were going back and forth.
Over what?
Just about picking Jalen Carter and saying that he's like a fair assumption to Nick Fairley. And Easy was
I don't think that's a fair comparison. But
Easy was trying to get Spencer to look up the information. They just kept yelling back and forth, so it kind of got out of hand. But
sounds like a good show. That's what I like to see.
It was a good show.
Yeah, Nick Fairley went 13th overall. So, I mean, for someone as a tail,
yeah, but he wasn't projected like Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter was a top 5 pick prior to everything.
Number 1 overall player rated by many. So, not quite, but I can see it. Off the field stuff, both D tackles. Hopefully, he doesn't have the same career as Fairley. Not that long of a career, but we'll see.
They yelled so loud we couldn't understand them. That's a good show, in my opinion. That's a good show, in my opinion. Let's take a break.
Love
when
the
we
Heavies,
get back,
man. Heavies are legends.
A little bit of March Madness, a little bit of answering your questions, and then we'll get to, of course, mailbag. Top it all off. So all that and more coming up next. But before we go, I got to tell you about my good friends over at Planet Fitness. If you're looking like Spencer these days, well, you got to hit the gym. Got to lose some weight. And if you're looking like Maz, what the hell are you waiting for? Sign up, $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. Sign up at a local Planet Fitness near you or by visiting them at planetfitness.com.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle, baby, talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Woodward Show live, woodwardsports.com, 9:42 on a Friday morning. Let's have some fun. March Madness is exactly what it is. It's March Madness. Arizona going down. The way Furman won their game. The Alabama game, yes, they won, but the way the spread was covered was stupid. Of course it would happen that way. I like to believe that college football is the worst regular season among any event or sport out there. But I also think not many get better than March Madness, Jeff. What'd you think of yesterday, huh?
It was nice. I mean, just to see, at least for me personally, big Brandon Miller guy didn't have his best performance, but it is March Madness, and typically, you don't really watch March Madness to, find your end-all, be-all result about any player. I mean, Jay Ivey struggled in the tournament, and he's turning into a pretty good player, so I don't really worry about that stuff. March Madness, I feel like it's just kind of lost its juice a little bit. It's just like I'm a big March Madness guy. I'm a big college basketball guy. I don't tune in as much, obviously, this year because I'm watching a lot more. I'm watching every Pistons game, but I'll catch as much college basketball as I can. But March Madness, and I heard Sam Flannel kind of talk about this yesterday on Ermanni and Edwards, and I had to agree with him. And JB, do you watch college basketball?
Only probably during March Madness.
Would you agree that just the juice around March Madness, it doesn't feel like the same as it's been in previous years? Or are you just as excited?
No, I still have to agree. Like, there's some fire that's just not there anymore that we were used to seeing in previous years. But I still do think the betting aspect is still there. That's why a lot of people are still watching it to this day.
No, I agree. I'm not a big like back in the day. I was much more invested in college basketball. I feel like now that you're seeing guys go to the league early and dip out of college, it's really you're just watching to see top prospects. At least for me, I'm watching Brandon Miller. Especially now with the overtime elite leagues. Like there's so many different ways to enter the NBA. That college basketball, you're not seeing the best players that are going into the NBA. You're seeing more guys from overseas, guys from different leagues, the G League. Now so college basketball, I think overall has just lost its excitement because again, players make it, and you're not really seeing it this year, especially locally. And Michigan State creeping in and Michigan playing in the NIT tournament. It's a tough one.
All right, let's see what else we have here. The best players are sitting on an NBA bench. You two picking each other made me gag. Yeah, it's just the truth, though. I mean, let's be real. You're starting a draft of Woodward Sports. 1 and 2 coming off the show. Any order, I don't care. That's just the reality. Betting is killing sports. Betting has killed the bracket influence of March Madness. I don't think it's killing sports. If anything, there's more money in sports now. There's more viewership. People that typically don't watch sports are now watching sports because of betting. I would have to disagree with that. Yesterday was the first time I wasn't excited about all the games. The Furman upset was freaking amazing, though. Hoping Providence pulls off the upset today, says Greg. Why do y'all hate Dak so much after just one bad year? Well, Rue, how do I say this? Because I got to pick my words. I'm talking about Dak Prescott. Sensitive guy. Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, to me, is a glorified version of Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins. Dak Prescott has a 67% completion percentage in his career, Jeff. He has thrown 166 touchdowns to only 65 interceptions. That's roughly a 2.4 to 1 ratio. Mm-hmm. Solid, right? But come playoff time, he has a losing record, 2-4, 63% completion percentage, throws an interception every 2 touchdowns, lower than his typical regular season rate, throws for fewer yards a game in the postseason than he does, throws for more, actually. I apologize, I read it vice versa. Has a lower quarterback rating, has a lower QBR in the playoffs. He's underwhelming. He's not a guy you win with or because of. You win in spite of Dak Prescott, like you win in spite of Kirk Cousins. It's the reality. Can you win with them? Yeah, you can. Of course you can. I'd be lying if I said you couldn't win with Dak Prescott. That would be a lie.
But could you lose because of him solely?
But you'll never. We had this argument with J.J. McCarthy literally last year in Cade McNamara. Mm-hmm. You could win with Cade, you wouldn't win because of him, and you could lose because of him. With J.J. McCarthy, you can win with him, you could win because of him, and you could also lose because of him. That's the reality with any quarterback. But he had the you can win with him. I can win because of Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, right. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Right. I can win because of them. Can't win because of Dak Prescott. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm not even on board with Dak at all. I think he's an average quarterback at best who has been privileged to have an offensive line and run game for the early start of his career. And you've seen it now with no run game, with CeeDee Lamb. I'm not a fan.
See, it was nice. It was easy to like Dak when he was on a rookie deal, and then he got paid, and now you're judged. There's different circumstances. Like the expectation now rises for Dak, and last year was awful. But we'll see. Big old Mike McCarthy. He's calling plays this year, Adam.
Yeah, good luck.
He's calling plays.
Good luck.
We'll see.
Right. Let's take a break. When we get back, mailbag time. Drop your questions in the chat for Jeff and I. We will answer them all coming up next. But before we go, Jeff, I got to tell you about my good friends over at Cousins Maine Lobster. What are you waiting for? It's Friday. Start the weekend strong, treat yourself to a delicious lunch, scan the QR code, find out their schedule, look for their locations, their 2 food trucks, try the lobster tacos and the clam chowder soup. I promise you won't regret it. It's my absolute favorite. Check them out, cousinsmainlobster.com.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir-fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
All right, we're back down the stretch, the final 10 minutes of the Morning Woodward Show today. Before we head into a great weekend, happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way, to all of you. Mailbag. Let's get your questions. Charcoal or gas? In what regard? What kind of question is that?
I guess it depends.
Well, no, I don't get the question.
Okay, who asked it? Because that's actually... Who asked that question?
Hat and beard.
My guy.
Why?
And I don't know if he... And again, I'm not going to say he... I think that,
I don't get the reference.
It might have just been an original question, but me, Rod, and Kool-Aid talk about that. I'm pretty sure Rod and Kool-Aid, we all kind of mutually agreed easier for gas.
What are we talking about?
Like grilling. Charcoal or gas. Are you...
charcoal, 100%. You're a pussy if you use gas grills.
Well,
That's my opinion.
Less of a hassle, but
I don't give a shit.
The charcoal though.
Charcoal's the only way you get wood. Charcoal. That's the way to go.
That's real.
Wood or charcoal. That's the only way.
I get it.
Sorry, you offend me if you use gas.
Bruh.
I get it. It's convenient, but you don't get the same taste, in my opinion. All right. Questions. Mailbag. What if we sign Cooper Rush? Oh wait, before I get to that question, Dave Burkett just tweeted out. Jamal Williams was offered the same deal as David Montgomery, but his smart-ass agent went and shopped the market, and he got $6 million less and didn't stay in Detroit. Do me a favor, suck our balls.
Someone's getting a new agent.
You suck.
Someone's getting a new agent. It was per, and again, this is an article Dave Burkett put out, but it quote, I'll say the whole quote. Detroit attempted to re-sign Williams and offered him a contract similar to the one they gave Montgomery, but pivoted to Montgomery as Williams' agent shopped the market for better deals. And he ended up signing for less money.
Look, guys, one thing I do not play around with at all is grilling. And that is my heritage. Gas offends me. Charcoal, wood. That's the game. That's the game.
You're a master griller.
You have one grill for the burgers, the hot dogs, the steaks, and then you have your little side grill, is what I call it, made of steel.
Yep.
And what that is for your skewers if you like to cook kebabs like I do. Two very different things. Don't ever cook the kebabs on the grill. Go find those open steel containers that you can line up the steel skewers on. Fucking phenomenal. You thank me later. Don't ever cook your kebabs on the gas, or excuse me, on the charcoal grill itself. Go do it with the one without the face. You'll thank me later. All right.
Jordan says gas for the flat top grill.
No. Just no to flat tops. Adam likes his steaks well done. Absolutely not. Medium.
Yep, medium
is the highest I'll ever eat a steak.
Mm-hmm.
Medium rare most of the time, but medium is the highest I'll go.
I'll go a little higher. I'll go.
But to be fair, that is actually he is correct, Greg. That is a good stereotype because it was correct. All my life growing up, we would eat well done meat. That's just how we are.
I actually like medium. I like medium well.
Medium well you can get away with.
That's the farthest I'll go. That's the farthest I'll go.
But once I grew up, I became like 19, 20 years old. I finally got to exploring and realized I was literally burning meat.
Danny says anything higher than medium is basically jerky. He's actually.
I agree.
He's not really wrong. To be
I
honest
agree,
with you.
man. I agree so much.
Yeah, Danny, he's spot on.
Oh man. All right. Let's see. If it ain't mooing, he ain't chewing. Oh God, you guys are awesome. Adam calls the cops on people using a gas grill. Yeah, or I just shoot him. I mean, there's other ways of handling things. Adam, does it have to be halal? Oh my God, Troy, you brought up something that's a big pet peeve of mine. Troy, for all you Arabs out there, there's no such thing as halal meat. Suck my dick. All right? The definition of halal meat is a very complicated process that cannot be scaled worldwide for meat and chicken distribution. Kiss my ass. There's no such thing. It's not real unless you get it from a local farm or meat market that does everything themselves. And I promise you, they don't have as much meat and chicken as everybody else. It's a fucking lie. All right? So no, it doesn't have to be. Me and my wife don't give a fucking shit. All right, moving on. Have to get that off my chest. Sorry.
By the way, good steak, you don't need steak sauce, right?
God, no.
Okay. All right,
steak sauce offends me.
I don't mind it, but if it's a good steak,
I think you're taught bad habits as a kid. Like A1 sauce to me is like, why do I need it?
It's like ketchup with like...
You pepper and salt the steak, you season it, right? You let it rest.
Yeah.
Butter, thyme, the whole 9 yards in the pan sear. I mean, come on, people. What are we doing here?
It's like people who
What are we doing here?
Eat,
you get the flavor from everything. You do not need A1 sauce.
It's like people who eat ketchup with chicken breasts. Like over time, it's like if it's good chicken breasts, just need a little bit of hot sauce. You don't need
If it's
too
good
much.
chicken breast, it's juicy. It doesn't taste like fucking plastic.
Danny says, I knew a guy who put ketchup on his steak. I cut all ties. As you should, Danny.
Yeah, good for you.
That man should be, he should be shot out of a cannon. I mean, if you put ketchup on steak, we have a real issue. And now we have beef. We have
Envision
beef now.
Production says, nah, bro. A1 is good. I'm not eating a steak without sauce. Envision, maybe one day I'll host a fan-only barbecue, and I'll show you what a real steak and just any well-prepared dish tastes like on the grill without any sauce. Now, chicken, it's a little different. You probably want garlic with it. Garlic and chicken is just such a beautiful combination, but, you know.
Yeah, Super Juggernaut's right. You can cook an A1 sauce. A1 on mac and cheese.
I don't want it. No, I can't do it.
A1 on mac and cheese, you're welcome. Hat and Beard says, WoodwardSports.com.
A1 on mac and cheese, very interesting. I've never tried that before, so maybe I
JB,
should.
What about you? A1 sauce guy?
I am, but I'm not putting it on what that guy just say?
Like a good steak or mac and cheese. He said
I'm not putting it on mac and cheese, but yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. If it's a good steak, you don't need A1 sauce.
You don't need it.
The steak speaks for itself.
Yeah.
All right, look, this is a big one for me. Who cooks the best steak at Woodward Sports? I'm not going to speak on behalf of anybody at the network. I'm sure Neil is a master griller. They're all much older than me. But I would be very confident that nobody can prepare meat the way I can. And I mean that sexually and on the grill.
Okay,
Just saying.
Oh, gosh. Jesus. St. Patty's Day.
I'm not doing anything. I'm taking my wife. We're going baby shopping.
Just put a yes or no. Are you guys drinking? Are you getting a little tipsy tonight? Just be honest. Just be honest. I know, Adam, you might dip into a Heineken.
No, I'm not.
No, you're taking it easy tonight.
I've been trying not to drink recently.
Look at you.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's been
I'm
about
proud
2
of you.
weeks, no drinks. Yeah.
Good.
I don't like
Look,
the idea
I'm
of
seeing
going
mixed
home.
answers. I'm seeing nope. I'm seeing I am drinking. I'll have one drink. My body's old. Yes, yes. No, I have work tomorrow. Smoking green. Okay, well, my guy. We got some different answers.
All right, question for all of you.
Adam's a White Claw guy. I agree. Go on.
I'm not a White Claw guy. That is a pussy drink. That is such a pussy drink.
You have your pinky up. I can see you
White
drinking.
Claw. Hey, dude, let's drink White Claws, bruh.
I can see you getting a claw.
The fuck up. I'm a Heineken and a nice old little glass of whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
I've got
Ain't no
an
laws with
acquired
White
taste
Claws.
thanks to my dad. So here we are. Cigar, whiskey.
We got to smoke a stogie one day.
Anytime. You're welcome to my house
I
anytime.
love cigars.
Anytime. All right, let's get out of here. Appreciate the show, boys. Appreciate the time. Appreciate the week. Thank you for a fantastic week. We appreciate it as always. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel. Almost at 40K, by the way. Get us there. We're 400 away. Less than 400, actually, by now.
Yep.
So let's all have a good weekend. Be safe. Enjoy your St. Patrick's Day. Drink as much as you want. Just do it safely. Be responsible. Please don't do anything stupid or that you'll regret the next morning. JB, try not to impregnate anybody later today. Alex, have a great weekend. We're out of here.
Stop disrespecting Lamar Jackson.
Jared Goff over Lamar Jackson. We're out of here. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Son of a...